I'm Elizabeth at A Literary Princess. If you are new here, welcome. I have a PhD in English literature with a focus on Victorian women novelists, and as you might expect, I love to read. Today I have a currently reading video for you. I feel like I haven't done one of these in forever. I don't know if that's true or not, but it feels like it's been a while. So I am currently reading 4 books. They are all physical books, so editing Elizabeth has less to deal with. Let's jump in. First book that I am reading is a work of nonfiction that I have from the public library. This is Loving Sylvia Plath, A Reclamation by Emily Van Duyn. I think that's how you pronounce that. So this is really looking at the construction of Sylvia Plath as a myth and how it was constructed by Ted Hughes and kind of reconstructing it based on new archival evidence in letters that Plath wrote to her therapist about domestic violence that Ted Hughes did against Plath in the last few years of her life. So this is really interesting so far. I am only, 50 pages in? Yeah, a little over 50 pages in. I've read 2 chapters, the introduction and then the first chapter, which was giving like an overall brief biography of Plath. So the next chapter that I am going to be reading is about Asia Weevil, who Hughes had an affair with while he was still married to Plath, and who then eventually also killed herself and the child that she had with Hughes. 2 of his partners took their own lives. That's a hint that something's wrong. But yeah, this is great so far, really interesting. It's just allowing me to build off the knowledge I already have of Sylvia Plath, which is great. I read Red Comet by Heather Clark last year, and that is mentioned in here quite a lot. And I'm having like a Plath era, my second Plath era, I call it because my first was in high school. And this is just a continuation of that. And I'm also building off information that I have in my next read that we will talk about. But yeah, this is really good. I can't wait to keep going with it. So the next read is more nonfiction. This is the Unabridged Journals of Sylvia Plath, edited by Karen V. Kuckel? I don't know. So yeah, this is Sylvia Plath's journals. Well, you might notice I have 3 bookmarks in here. So we have the main journals that go up until page 530. Now in those, I'm about halfway through. I'm on page 287. However, then the rest of this is appendices with more journals. And so there will be like little notes in the main journals, like Appendix 10 has her entries for such and such dates. And so I am then going into the back and reading those. But some of the appendices overlap. So it's like Appendix 10 covers this pretty long period of time. And then within that period of time, there's some stuff from Appendix 11. So that's why there's 3 whole bookmarks in here. I've been reading this for quite a while now. I think I started it in August and it's now the end of September. But I'm really taking my time with it. I feel like it's not something you can like just sit and read all the way through like a novel quite. Like it requires more attention than that, I guess. Well, not attention, but I don't know. Like it's just different. I don't feel like I can binge it the way I would binge read a novel. Also, it's very heavy a lot of the times. I mean, Plath is a gorgeous writer. You can see in her entries that she is a poet. Like, just the way she words stuff is so beautiful. And there are sometimes pieces of poems and of short stories that she was working on in here. So I am really enjoying this. I'm probably going to be reading it for quite a while, though, another month or two. And then we get into some fiction. So we have The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry. This is a work of historical fiction taking place in the Victorian period. I am like 60 pages in right now, so really just getting started. But so far I've been introduced to 3 characters. Cora Seaborn, who is a widow. Her son, whose name is probably not going to be on the back because that's too much hope. Yep, that's too much hope. Her son, who's a bit odd. And then the doctor that attended her husband in his last illness, Luke Garrett, who is in love with her. So, things haven't really started going yet, but we do know that there is this serpent, supposedly a creature, in the river where they are in Essex. Does it say the name of the river? No. And there's also been fossils discovered in this area, which is what brings Cora to the area because she is interested in fossils. So I'm really excited to keep going with this. I want to know what's going to happen. I'm particularly intrigued with Cora's son because he's just kind of odd. He carries around like little tokens that he takes and like has special meanings for them and stuff. And I'm like, you're interesting. So very excited to continue with it. And then the final book is actually the 18th century novel project book for October because I'm trying to actually finish it before October so that I can focus on my Victober reading. And this is A Simple Story by Elizabeth Inchbald. I am a quarter of the way through this. I have finished volume 1. There are 4 volumes. And so far we are following Miss Milner. Her father has died and left her under the guardianship of his friend, Mr. Dorriforth, who's a Catholic priest. Now, Miss Milner has not been raised Catholic, and she falls in love with him. So that's where I'm at right now. And she is very distressed about this, obviously, because he is a Catholic priest, which means he cannot marry. He has taken vows of celibacy. So I actually do know what happens in this. My friend Michaela wrote one of her dissertation chapters on this, so I have read several versions of it now, actually. So I do know where we're going, but I'm excited to see how we get there because there's plenty of stuff that she didn't talk about in her dissertation that I'm like, oh wow. So far this is kind of crazy, which is good fun. I'm finding it a lot easier to read than some of the previous books for this project. Definitely easier to read than Tristram Shandy. I really feel that we're getting into the writing style that I am more used to. Because of course now it's 1791, so we're getting more toward that 19th century style. And I definitely prefer it. So, really enjoying it so far, and I'm just interested to see how what I know happens plays out. So that is what I am currently reading. Let me know down in the comments. Have you read any of these? What did you think? What are you reading right now? If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more of my bookish content. It has been great chatting with you. I will see you soon. Bye.